So talking again, continuing with where I left off. The whole thing with being transgender is it is a deception. It isn't anything that anyone should ever be doing. You know, if you can be a drag queen, you can be gay, you can do whatever you want. You know, but as soon as you start to deceive people that you are something you're not, that's really where you're going into when you start calling yourself transsexual and transgender and you start doing certain things to try to convince everyone around you that you are female when you're not. And I know this sucks because I know people that are transgender and they will never listen to this. You know, they will never even let these thoughts enter their brain because the cognitive dissonance is going to hit them so hard. They're going to be like, transgenderism is bad? No, that's impossible. Everything that I've built myself on over the past couple years tells me that it's good. Tells me that it's not something to worry about, that it's something that is totally okay, totally morally acceptable. You know, and I didn't realize that I was deceiving people. I guess that's really the key. It was when I started to realize that I am deceiving people, that I am something I'm not. And I guess, I had to accept, too, that I am a man and that I am male. And, there's nothing that's going to change that. That was really hard to accept. But the facts are the facts. And truth is immutable. The Akashic record is there. Everything that's happening and will happen is being written to the Akashic record, and we will have to somewhat deal with the consequences of our actions eventually. And, I don't ever want to have to see anyone go through death. I don't want to have to see anyone suffer. There's been too much suffering. So, I make these videos hoping that people stumble across them and they hear them. And it helps them see that there are other people that are transgender out there that went out there and they figured it out. And, this is what happened. There are people out there that detransitioned that aren't insane. Because I saw a documentary one time on TV about people that detransitioned, that were transgender, and then later in life they decided not to go through with it. And that whole documentary, painted those people as, idiots. And, they painted those people as, everything that they did, even the transgender aspect of their life was, them being stupid, and then the consequences of what they have to deal with now that they've decided that it was a stupid idea and now I have to go back to my regular life. I saw that documentary and it was it just painted such a terrible picture for the whole thing. And I don't want to do that, I want to try to inspire hope in people. I want to try to give it kind of a reasonable explanation for the whole thing, for why people go into being transgender. And because you when I was doing it, I thought I was entirely justified. I had dysphoria. I felt terrible. I hated my masculinity. What am I going to do about it? Be a girl. You don't have to be a guy. Oh, okay. And then, you don't really think about it any farther than that. You just consider, oh, well, it's morally acceptable for me to be whatever I want. God fucked up. There is no such thing as God. Basically, that's what I thought. I realize now that there is such thing as a goddess. You were birthed out of your mother's waters. That makes her your God and creator. And she is a daughter of Mother Earth, making her a goddess of Mother Earth. And, her a goddess. And you're a god. If you're male, you're a god. If you're female, you're a goddess. And if you're female, you are significantly more than you've ever been told, because goddess is the true god of the world. There is no such thing as a god, as it is the most high is not male. It is actually female. And that was, something that I started to develop because I was trying to be more spiritual, and I was trying to gain a little bit of more of a connection to myself and the reality around me. And I've always believed in those energies, that telekinesis and stuff like that. I've always wanted those things to exist, so I've always kind of had it in my heart to believe in them. And I've always said, fairies could be real, who knows. I've tried to keep that childhood spark alive of that imagination, even though I knew it was impossible in my adult self. I just tried to keep the imagination alive. And that I was trying to connect with my inner childhood, because I realized that if I'm going to be successful at a societal interaction and as living as whoever I wanted to be it male, women, whatever, if I was going to be successful with interacting with people, I had to kind of get back to this inner childhood and my inner child. And so I was getting back to my inner child through meditating and trying to remember those aspects of my earlier self. And I remembered, how easy it was for me to communicate with adults and how easy it was for me to just have fun and make jokes and make everyone laugh. And I couldn't remember how I did it, but I remembered that I did do it when I was a little kid. And so I just realized that it was inside of me still. Like, all that stuff is still inside of you. All of your potential is always inside of you at all times. So it's just having the intention to bring that potential out. And that's what I realized I needed to do. I just needed to have more of an intention for gaining a better sense of my reality around me. And I had to research and think and critically think. And, I was really confused because, I was, heliocentric model and coming up, looking up, the lunar wave and stuff like that, and realizing that the moon could be a hologram, and what does that mean? And, if the moon isn't a rock in space, does that explain all the alien activity? Is it some kind of moon base? Is it some kind of black cube up there projecting a hologram? And, that's something that I stumbled across in terms of the information, and now I realize that the black cube is Saturn, and all that stuff is kind of there for you to decode if you understand the symbolism. That's really what it comes down to. As soon as you start to realize that Saturn is the black cube, that the Muslims in Mecca are worshiping Saturn because they have the black cube of Saturn and they're running around it in circles, and you start to see the eye of Saturn everywhere, and you start to see the cube everywhere, and it just it's everywhere. It's crazy how the symbolism just permeates every aspect of our reality, and it's really shocking. I was trying to see if I had anything around me right now, but all I have is this stupid $5 bill. I don't even know if I can fold it into anything. I think I need a $10. But I could pull some. I might be able to put some stuff on the video, some pictures that you guys will see what I'm talking about when it comes to the symbolism. Because the other day I wasn't researching. I was driving. And I saw an ambulance, and the ambulance had that caduceus symbol, but it was only one snake. Our chakra charts, in our kundalini charts, usually have two snakes that wrap up around our spine, and they kind of make this, that whole sine wave symbol as they go up this center pole, and that's the caduceus, or the two snakes. But we have that in our brain. Our brain is a left brain and a right brain. And our left brain is attached to the right snake,